Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Tonight, I'm getting into my dad's PC. So on my channel, I've started to kind of realize that I need to do things that I really enjoy doing. And I build a lot of computers. I do a lot of auto detailing, polishing, and a lot of gaming rig builds. So tonight, I'm gonna go over my next little project. It's actually my dad's computer, and kind of talk about what we're doing and what parts I'm installing. And this will be a multi-part video. So without further ado, let's do it. All right, so here's the setup for tonight. Let's talk about the computer. So originally, this computer and everything inside of it was actually inside of this PC, inside this case. So the whole reason that I switched everything over is needed a bigger graphics card. It used to have a GTX 1050 in it, and I got my dad a new monitor recently, like a nice big 4K screen that he uses as a monitor. So even though I only need to run it at like 1080 or 1440, I can scale it in between. That little card was not enough to run that new screen. So I got him a 3060 12 gigabyte card, and the problem I then had was it didn't fit inside this case. So I had this case laying around from a previous build that I had done, and I figured, okay, I'll just throw everything in here. So that's what I did. So there's that new 3060 12 gigabyte card. I put his motherboard in there, just swapped everything over, right? So the case has a couple upgrades that it needs. So here's what we got going on. First things first, these fans that are currently in here are all Corsair RGB controllable fans, but I took the controller out of this case when I did my newest build, which I'll make a video on. So there's no RGB controller in this case as of now. Had to order one. So we got him the iCUE Commander XT. The reason I went with this version is because this one does not only RGB control, but as you can see right there on the box, it also has fan power, powered through Molex, or not through Molex, through SATA power. So I figured, okay, that's probably gonna be my best bet because there's only like 4 fan headers on this motherboard that he has. I think there might actually only be 3. And I had to use a splitter, so I figured, okay, let's handle our 6 fans that we're going to be powering with the iCUE Commander core. So there's that, that's done. There's the extra fans that I need because currently I'm missing the 2 top fans that go on the top of the case. There's nothing in there as of now, it's just bare. And then last but not least, we're also going to be throwing in a nice little 1 terabyte WD Blue SATA drive. So again, this will be a video that I make over the course of a couple days, just because I don't feel like spending, 2-3 hours right now doing this. It's gonna be a lot of cable management. I'm taking off the old cooler, putting on a new cooler, which I also don't have the new CPU for that yet. Reason being is I've got like 5 or 6 gaming PCs that I kind of switch between. And what I mean is like I switch parts between them. So I've got 2 or 3 for myself that I've built. Then I've got my dad's. I've also got one that I built for my girlfriend. And then, long story short, when I upgrade one, I transfer things down the line through them. So I'm getting myself a brand new Ryzen 9 5950X that I'll be putting in my current gaming rig, video coming on that soon. And then I'll be giving my Ryzen 7 5800X to my girlfriend, putting it in her PC, which means her Ryzen 5 3600 can then go in here. Because right now this is a 2600, which, I mean, the 2600, it's all right. It's an okay PC, it's an okay CPU, But secretly, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of gaming on this PC when my pop's not around, just because he's got a really nice setup. And I wanna be able to do that. So that's the deal. We're throwing in a single 120 AIO, okay, nothing crazy. And then, and the reason for that is because I've had a lot of great success with these little 120 AIOs, especially the Corsair brand, it's a great product. Especially if you do like a push-pull setup, which I think there's enough room for here in this PC. I'm gonna do it on the back, and we'll get some really good airflow. Why push-pull? Well, because why not? It's awesome. And I'm into cars. That's originally what I went to school for. I went to Wyotech into Hennessy. So this is basically a little miniature radiator intercooler system. You know, it's water to air, and that is awesome. So yeah, let's start on it. I think tonight I'll just get into disassembling the case, kind of talk about some of the parts, show you the back panel, and tomorrow we'll really get into the meat of it, and we'll go from there. So some of my tools, I cannot say enough about these little magnetic trays that you get from like Harbor Freight or Home Depot, Ace Hardware, any place like that. They're literally like, you know, $3 to $7. These are lifesavers. When you're taking screws and hardware out of a computer like this, man, that makes it really, really easy to keep everything in track and in check. Another thing that I got, I'm a pretty big dude. Like I accidentally strip screws all the time, all the freaking time. So I got myself this little Skills screwdriver that I use specifically for computer builds. And this helps me so I don't over torque things. I will tighten things to whatever the torque is on this, and that's it. Another awesome piece of kit that I really recommend is this little like multi-screw computer building fastener kit. This thing is amazing. It's got every screw you could possibly need for everything in your computer, from fan screws, chassis screws, motherboard screws, even standoffs. Like, look at this thing. It is absolutely awesome. I use the heck out of it, and I really don't build computers without it. So yeah, highly recommend that. I can post a link in the video for that. Another thing that I recommend, even though this Skill screwdriver came with all these bits here, I got this as a gift from a friend of mine. It's a little PC building kit, and it has literally every bit you could ever need, which is fantastic because sometimes you find little obscure things like that little plastic separator that's pretty nice, little brushes in there, and it just makes things really handy. Another bit of my kit, I've got 2 types of thermal paste here. Both of those brands are amazing, and if I'm honest, man, every thermal paste out there works pretty great. Like, they're all within a couple degrees of each other, so I don't see the point in getting all crazy. I just have this one that's new. I barely used it, and then this Cryonaut honestly is my favorite. I don't know why, I think it's probably the marketing. Thermal Grizzly just makes me think like rawr. Anyways, so inside this kit, let's mount this real quick. So inside of this, it's actually, I put a couple different things inside my thermal paste packages. Reason being is, anytime you do a thermal paste job and like remount a cooler, you're always gonna need a couple things. So the first thing I have is I've got some alcohol swabs, right? These work amazing for cleaning the old thermal paste off of the cooler or off of the CPU, whatever you're gonna be doing. And as you can see, I got a ton of Q-tips in there because when you're trying to get around the motherboard, especially with, you know, fingers like this, look at these things, man, sausage fingers. So I can't really get in there really accurately, so I use Q-tips to clean up the motherboard and around the chip. And then you've got your thermal paste itself. So this one also comes with some pretty cool little attachments, like this little doohickey here, which is like a spreader, injector spreader. It's actually got 2 of them. I tried it one time, don't really, you know, buy into it. I just do like the pea-size drop. I've never had a problem with that. And out of all the 20 or 30 PCs I've built at this point, they're all still running, so, and have great temps. So anyways, there's that. Okay, so now, let's actually start getting into this thing. So a lot of people, I've seen them struggle with these case screws. With these guys here, because they can be kind of difficult to turn. So again, I literally just got this screwdriver, which works amazing. Look at that. So easy. Let's get our dish over here. Boom, magnetic. It's the way to go. Nothing falls out. So, so nice. All right, number 2. 3. And be careful when you get the 4th one out, because these are usually tempered glass panels on these cases, which tempered glass, if you know what that means, It means that the second this glass gets even the tiniest chip on any surface, the whole panel is gonna crack. So be careful to not drop this as you're taking it out. And usually like keep one hand keeping it secure while you take the other screw out. And boom, there you go. Just like that. Always put your glass in a safe place. I usually like to stick mine between, you know, a dresser and a wall on the floor or something where it's nice and safe. But yeah, check this thing out. So like I said, this computer currently has a 2600 in it, I believe, Ryzen 2000 series. And I'm gonna switch that out. We've got this nice 3060 12 gigabyte card. We've got some good airflow. So yeah, this is, honestly, it's overkill for my dad who surfs YouTube and the internet to look at classic cars. But it seems like everybody loves to use his computer because he's got that big giant 55-inch screen as a monitor. So yeah, so okay, let's think about this. I do have these products that need to go in. And with my experience, I'm just thinking that it'd be easiest to tackle the fan controller first for a couple reasons. Number one, that is the most wiring intensive, and it would be kind of difficult to do that over everything else. So it's gonna be easy to switch out the chiller because we already have our wiring in the PC from this stock cooler, this stock AMD cooler. It's already hooked up to the pump header on the motherboard to spin this fan, or to the CPU fan. I usually use either one. The pump header or the CPU fan header, they both work great. They're both like controlled, thermally controlled, so either one works. But we're going to take that off in another video. For now, I'm gonna flip this around and let's actually start looking behind the back panel. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, another thing I like to do. I like to take all the glass off the computer before I start working on it. Everything. Reason being is you're gonna see me flip this thing around a lot, back and forth on its side, and I just don't want anything to break. So just like before, let's get this glass off. These ones are longer. Super, super nice to have this magnetic tray. Look at that. Come on. It all just stays right there. And this screwdriver is pretty strong. Like, it's not gonna strip things strong, but it's also like not a little weakling where you have to add a bunch of torque. Like, it's pretty solid. So there we go, got the front case off. Glad to get it off so I can get all these fingerprints off and also take this MSI sticker off. I put that on, you know, as a freebie in like a power supply or something. So take that off for my pops so it's a nice clean look. We'll set this over here. And at the same time, I'm actually gonna move the front cover and the glass off camera somewhere that's like super secure. All right, also going to take the front fan cover off. Now, these fan covers are amazing. Usually, typically, on most gaming PCs that have front fans like this, these should be intakes, which means you're constantly pulling air through this filter, and over time, it's going to get dirty. Like, this one's pretty clean. I cleaned it out about 2 weeks ago when I rebuilt the PC, but I mean, even you can see this is only 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Look at how dirty this is. It's only been 2 weeks. So keep your PC clean because heat is the enemy to performance, and the way you get heat is through a lack of airflow and through insulation. And all this dust is just insulating this thing, keeping the heat in. So note to self, keep these clean. All right, gonna take the dust cover off of the top here. Little magnetic guy. And now I can get to what I wanted to get to, which is the back cover, right? So on the back of this PC, just like a lot of them, it's just 2 screws. So I'm gonna take these all the way out so I don't lose them, throw them in my little dish. And same with this guy here. Perfect, and now that will reveal back of the case. So this guy's a little bit dirty too. I'll wipe that down. And just because I'm a detailing nerd, I'm probably gonna ceramic coat the inside of this because I have a feeling it'll get less dusty. So that's a coating that you put on cars. But anyways, that's a different video. So there's that. All right, let's talk about this back of the PC. So pretty clean. I've seen a lot worse, right? This is something I did a week or two ago. I had to switch out the power supply because the power supply that was in that other case, it didn't have the headers that I needed or the outputs that I needed for that new graphics card. So this is what we ended up with. These are my bundled up fan leads that will control the RGB. I just put all these aside because I needed the fans to run, even though I didn't have the RGB controller for those yet. What else did I do? I bundled up my SATA here knowing that I was going to be putting in another drive. So most SATA cables like this is called a SATA cable. And what it is SATA cables power all types of different devices and computers. They can power everything from drives to fans to little lighting accessories. It's a really widely used plug for a lot of computer accessories. So you're gonna find multiple times, or most times, that you're gonna have multiple plugs on these SATA cables coming out of your power supply. So if you're running multiple drives, like I plan to do here, it's always nice to think ahead to kind of where your location is gonna be for your cable management. And when I say that, I specifically wanted to have enough room on these 2 extra leads to be able to reach over here when I put the next drive in without having to do much different. So I literally am just gonna snip this zip tie and I'm good to go on this drive. So let's actually open this thing up and take a look at it. Let me grab a little box cutter. All right, so here we are. We've got the WD Blue. Careful with knives. Always, always, always cut away from you. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I can teach you how to do this, okay? Cut away from you just in case you slip. And let's see what we got in here. Okay. So here is the drive. Nice, let's see what we got. Boom. Just like that. And so on the end here, there's 2 different plugs. The one on the left, that is the SATA power plug. The one on the right is the SATA data cable. So in order for this drive to talk to the motherboard and communicate, we have to do more than just plug in the power, okay? So our power cable's down here, just like this, and our SATA will plug in here, boop. And then once it's mounted, we'll also run a SATA data cable, which looks like this. Okay, so here is our SATA cable. And these ones are really nice because this one has a 90 on it. 90 meaning you have 2 different style plugs here. This one on the left is just a straight, okay? This one on the right, this is a 90-degree plug. And the beauty of this is most motherboard headers are sticking out this way, running in parallel with this back panel here. So if you have a 90-degree plug and you are going simply through this boot, it makes the install really clean because this 90 is automatically shooting the cable in the direction of your cable management, which is oftentimes through one of these boots here. So these are really nice to have. So we'll have the 90 go through one of the boots into the motherboard, and we'll hook the other side up right here. Done. It's a nice little clean fit, it clips right in, and from there we'll install it. So I'm gonna set that aside. All right, so there's the drive contents, the packaging, cool. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is, let's unclip this. Let me get a little set of clippers. Okay, we'll leave that together. Let's clip the zip tie off. Be really careful not to cut any of the wires. Now the bottom zip tie. Perfect. Okay, so what we have going on here is there's actually 2 wires coming off of every fan. There's one wire that's going to power the fan, and there's another wire that's going to control the RGB. And as a matter of fact, let me show you how that works. Again, careful with knives, cut away from yourself. Let's see, which way does this one go? Perfect. These are really, really nice fans. They're very quiet, really reliable. So this is usually like wiring or... Actually, let's see what that is. Let's see what's in here. I'm just sitting here talking, actually not knowing what it is. Okay. Yeah, it's wiring. Oh, great. Oh man, I got another hub. That's awesome. Well, this is still not what I wanted, and here's the reason why. So if you notice, between these two, this hub here is just going to be controlling the RGB itself, which is great if you already have all of the fans powered. But like I mentioned, this motherboard doesn't have 6 fan headers, and I really don't want to split them. So I'd rather get something like this, which has not only the RGB controller, but fan power all along the bottom. The only downside with something like this is different brands of fans usually don't work with other brands of controllers. For example, if you're already deep into, let's say, like Cooler Master fans or Lee & Lee fans, I don't believe that they would hook up to this because most of the connections are proprietary based upon which brand you use. So I stuck with Corsair. This is a Corsair case. That's why we're also going with a Corsair cooler, Corsair controller, Corsair fans, because then everything just plays nicely together. So this we won't be using. We won't be using any of this in this build. I'll save this for a different build. But we will be using these bad boys, bad girls, whatever you want to call them. So these are the LL120 RGB 120 millimeter fans. And I've used these in multiple builds in the past. It's a really, really nice fan. There are different versions of Corsair's fans. The, what I would call step up from this. I don't know exactly what it's called, but you have color on both sides. So on this fan, this is black on the back and doesn't light up. You just have the residual lighting from the center of the LEDs within the hub, and then the lighting ring, which is all addressable LEDs on the outside. But Corsair makes a great product. I'm pretty happy with these, and they're not too expensive as far as pulse width modulated RGB fans go. So again, here's our 2 plugs that I was telling you about. We're gonna have one for the actual fan power itself, which is this one here, and then we'll have this one, which is for the RGB. So I wanted to show you this because that's why we have this bundle of wires here. We have 3 wires just for RGB, and we have 3 wires just for power. So I'm gonna untangle these real quick, figure out exactly what I had done. Okay, great. So don't let this type of stuff intimidate you, because realistically, this is only 6 wires right here. It's only 6, so I've got my 3 for my RGB, and these other 3 are already hooked up. These are the 3 that I pulled through for these 3 wires here, I pulled through for the power, and they're distributed throughout the case going to the motherboard as of now. So I'm actually going to unplug all of those since we're going to be using the controller. Let's do that now. So the first one I'll unplug is I know I've got one fan going up through the back of the case here to the front of my motherboard. and that's coming up right up here. So I'm gonna unplug that, just like that, and pull it through the back. Then I know I have another fan that is coming through. Let's see. I have another fan that's coming through the bottom here. Right here. There's one. Chassis fan. There's two. Chassis fan. Okay. So now those are the other two fans. I'm going to pull those through. Boom, those are out. Fantastic. Okay, and last but not least, I have this back fan here, right? So that one is actually right here. See, this is the problem with big hands. It's hard to get in here. Come on, any day. All right, we got it. Okay, so now that's this one undone. Okay, so flip it around. And that back fan, I had already done quite a bit of cable management on this guy, so I'm gonna snip the cable that is holding that rear fan, which is currently the exhaust fan. Because as of right now, there's 3 intake fans that are coming from the front into the case and 1 exhaust fan. When I'm done, I'll have 3 intake fans, 3 exhaust fans, and 1 rear exhaust fan. And what I think I'm gonna do actually, although now I'm realizing I didn't think of this very well, I want to do a push-pull setup on this new little radiator that I have, on this AIO. And if I do that, I don't think I'll have enough fans. Because I already have, no, I think I can do it. Because I've got 3 in the front here with 1 in the back, which is 4. And I've got 3 in the box there, which means I'll have 7. So I can do 3 in the front, 3 in the top. Wait, nope, still missing 1 in the back. I'm gonna figure that out and come back with the answer for that in a different video. For now, I'm going to keep getting these fans undone. Boom, see, there we go. Here's, so this fan. So this is a lot easier to see it. On this back fan, these are the only 2 wires that I'm dealing with. I've got my power, okay? And I've got my color, my RGB. So now I've got them all done. I'm not gonna be moving those around, so I'm gonna leave them where they're at. Okay, so this is kind of like the final step for tonight. I'm probably gonna wrap this video up for tonight, and tomorrow we'll get really in depth with it. But here's my 2 fan leads to the rear. And then here are all of my other fan leads, right here. Boom. So if I did this correctly, I should have 6. I should have 3 power. There's 1, 2, 3. So there's my 3 power leads, and there's my 3 color leads. So tomorrow, I'll be able to hook these up and start going into it. But you know what, tonight, let's do the drive, why not? Because that's pretty easy to do, actually. So here is our drive. I'm gonna take the little sticker off the back. Perfect. So Corsair does something pretty cool. They actually make these little removable hard drive cages for your SSDs, which are amazing because then you can just slap it on like this and boom, put the screws through on the back. So this is where my awesome little hardware kit comes in, because if I'm correct, there was no screws with the, yep, no screws included with the SSD. So what that means, let's go to our handy dandy kit. And I believe, let me see here. Let's see, I think it is, I think it's these little guys. Yep, it's them. There you go, now you know why you have to have this kit. Okay, so it goes on that way, which means we want it like this, facing down. All right, there we go. I'm gonna line that up there. I've got 1, Oh, nice, I get to change out my little bit. So for these, I think it's this guy here that is the best. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. Sweet. Okay. Oh, so easy. So easy. Get yourself one of these screwdrivers, I swear. The best. The best. It is the best in the whole city. Who knows what movie that's from? And last but not least, number 4. So sweet. Okay, screwdriver coming in clutch. Now, I might even be able to get away with not even, no, I need to snip it. I was thinking of making it reach, but there we go. Easy enough. So, now I'm going to slide the drive bay back in. Boom. It's kind of hard doing this at this angle for the camera, but I digress. All right, she's in. She's solid. Okay. Now we can take our power. And I think the way that this is going to work best is probably this way. Oh, this is the wrong way. Let's see. See, we're learning together. We're learning together. I should have done this before I put it on. Let's go just like this. Boom! Come on. All right, there we go. And then this one here. SATA cable. Bam! Locked and loaded in business. Sweet. Okay, so that's in. So now, you're probably asking yourself, David, what do you do at this end? Let me show you. First, I'm gonna kind of tuck this away, just to get it out of the way and not break anything. Then, I'm gonna flip the case around. And I'm going to locate what's known as your SATA ports. So here on this PC, they are right here. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Dun, 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 dun. And there's already one plugged in because he already has one SATA drive. So in this case, I don't think my 90 helped me. I think my 90 is actually going to be a problem. Unless I move that one. Or unless I go to this SATA plug up there. So let's think about this. You know what I just realized? I'm gonna have to get a different SATA cable. So for tonight, I think that's where we're gonna call it. This has been fun. We've been out here for about an hour, and we'll get back into this tomorrow. So tomorrow, I will have a different SATA cable so we can hook that up. We're also going to install the fans tomorrow. We will mount the controller, the iCUE controller, the Core XT, and we'll get further into it. But that's it for tonight. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And this is, again, going to be a multi-part series, probably 3 or 4 more videos on this. But that's it for tonight. Thanks, everybody. We're done. Peace.